to help members of the military. And Mike will certainly explain more about that to you as we get going. So that comes up in just a bit. So very busy show today. We're excited about all the things that are going on. Last night in the NBA, and more of what you expected, I would say. I would say that was an expected bounce back from Oklahoma City.
Yeah, a good adjustment by the Thunder in terms of being very physical with Wemby. Hartenstein, I thought, really played outstanding, particularly late in the game. He played 27 minutes, 10 points, 13 boards, 8 offensive, and was just constantly getting away with basically hooking Wemby. And the officials let him play. And so it certainly worked to Oklahoma City's favor, and SGA was, not exquisite, but certainly very good. So, yeah, tie series, and now we go to San Antonio.
I thought that game was, JJ, not as much a, wow, look at the stars show up, is business-like, workman-like for the Thunder. Did you feel that way?
Oh, yeah, and they just showed their depth, too.
Yeah.
Like, their bench is so deep. You never see a team in the playoffs use, 10, 11 guys, but they will. And to Hayes' point, if they do this thing, they've always played like this. They'll foul a guy relentlessly, and knowing you're only going to call this maybe once every 5-6 possessions, but we're going to foul him every single possession and dare you to call it. And I think we're going to see, it'll be really interesting to see how game 3 is called very early, and we'll get a feel for how things are going to go the rest of the game.
Yeah, I kept waiting. I agree with that. I kept waiting last night for the game to have a moment. You know what I mean? I thought the good teams are methodical. They don't have moments, right? They just, they get a lead.
They choke you slowly.
They choke you slowly. That's better than I said it. They choke you slow. Didn't you feel that last night? That's how I felt.
Yeah, I mean, and I'll give the Spurs credit, because that's a game that I think a lot of even good teams lose by 15 to 20. And, they hung in. They made runs really right up until the end of it. And they were sloppy with the ball, lots of turnovers for San Antonio, and Wemby really, I think, was affected. He still played well. I mean, it's not like his numbers were bad or anything, but he certainly wasn't as dominant as he was in game 1, when Oklahoma City really didn't use Hartenstein that much on him. So, they found something, to their credit, and now it'll be up to San Antonio to figure out how they want to counter that. And, the other thing, too, about Oklahoma City's depth, how many teams could lose Jalen Williams again? And it's it's not a big deal.
Didn't even notice.
Right.
I was like, man, I haven't seen him score in a while. And then they show him going to the locker room with the ice on his leg. And I'm like, oh, well, they've just been killing it since. They were up 13 when they showed him.
Yeah, so we'll see what happens. What happens tonight?
I think the Knicks are going to sweep the Cavs now. I just think to blow a game like that. So I'll say Knicks by 9.
How about it?
Yeah, it's probably a gentleman's sweep. So definitely the Knicks tonight. Yeah. I like that by 9. Sounds good.
I get the sense as well. So, all right. So a lot of things to talk about today. We'll touch a little bit on the NBA. We got all kind of stuff coming up on the program today. Ruben Chinyelu is back. Now, here's what I thought today. I sent you the text when I saw, because you and I had lunch together, and then I sent you the text after that. We all knew. Here's what's funny about the way this preseason or this off season is playing out for them. We all kind of knew he was coming back. All kind of expected him to come back. There was no surprise. But when you saw it, it almost sort of completed the deal, right? Did you feel that way? Even though you knew it, I thought when I saw it, I go, okay. Well, now they're winning the national championship. The question now is, do they go undefeated? I mean, it didn't run. I'm kidding, but you know my point.
It's anytime you get something that's a certainty, even if you thought, it was a probable, the outcome you're looking for was a probable, going to happen. It's great when it's confirmed that it is. And I mean, they have a chance to be incredibly dominant next year, because if Aberdeen gets his waiver, and I can't imagine he will not, he's better than Xavier Lee.
No question.
And
I
don't think it's particularly close. So
Aberdeen Xavier Lee?
Yeah.
It's not even remotely close.
So, I mean,
we learned that because last year at this time we didn't think that. Nobody thought that.
Right.
Everyone thought that even though Aberdeen left for Kentucky, everybody thought the Gators were trading up. We all thought that. Or it's not even close. I think Aberdeen is a borderline NBA player. Xavier Lee isn't playing in the NBA. But continue.
Yeah, so, I mean, you've got Fland obviously back for year 2 under Golden. You've got Aberdeen back, and he's been under Golden before. and is probably going to be a better product having gone through a year at Kentucky. And then you've got the front court that is a college basketball dream. I mean, I don't know if these three guys stay healthy, it will be really interesting to see how they historically compare to some of the other great front courts that this sport has produced. Because obviously they're going into year 3. They're going to all be better. That's what I think is really interesting is in what areas do Houck, Condon, and Chinyelu get better? They're still very young players. It's not like they don't have upside. So as good as they have been, and they've been very good, Florida with Ruben Chinyelu in the starting lineup is 63-12. 63-12.
Right.
And now they're getting all these guys back for a third year together in the front court. So they have a chance to be just an absolute monster.
And the reality is if they have a really good year, title or no title, although I really do think I don't know that the only time I've ever said this about a Florida basketball team was after the 06 title. And I don't know if I've ever said it about a Florida football team, maybe after 08. Maybe after 08.
Probably after,
okay.
08, yeah.
But it's championship or bust.
Yeah.
I mean, I really do believe anything shy of winning the national championship is a disappointment. They've never been that team. They've Duke's that team.
Right.
Kentucky and Carolina have been that team. Florida has never been the team that anything shy of a national champ. Now, the Spurrier Gators got that way for a while. Bobby Bowden Seminoles were absolutely that way. But
Georgia football
has become that way. Has become that. But I now think for the first time in my life, other than 07, anything shy of a national championship is failure.
It's hard to argue. I mean, I hate to put that word failure on a team if they win the SEC regular season title, win the SEC tournament title, get to the national title game, and lose it. That the season was a failure, but it's hard to argue. I mean, if there's any team that should have those expectations, this is what I believe. Florida could play 300 more college basketball seasons. They will never have a team better than the team they will produce this season. Like, they will never have a team with this much talent, this much experience, this level of coaching. Like, this will be the zenith of Florida men's basketball. And it would be that for, I would think, a lot of programs out there. But you'll never see another Gators men's basketball team that will be as deep and as versatile and as talented and as balanced as this team will be if they can all stay healthy. Now, if you start losing, if you lose 2 guys, before you get to Christmas, it'll still be a good team. But if they stay healthy, I mean, they will be there. There will only be a couple teams in the country that can stay on the floor with them.
Yeah, and I can tell you that it will never. Never's a long time, but I can't imagine it looking like that going into a season again for a very long time. I can imagine it for Duke. I can imagine it for Carolina at some point if they ever come back. Kentucky, Kansas, but I don't know. Now, I love the fact that Todd Golden, when interviewed with Jeff Goodman, those guys, pretty much said on the air, he said, listen, we love the fact that C.J. Ingram and Alex Lloyd and all those guys are coming back, and in 2 years they'll help us. He pretty much said they're not playing. Did you see the interview?
I don't know how, I mean, what they'd have to turn into basically Michael Jordan.
You're right.
To, have a chance to get minutes.
He pretty much said they're not playing. They're coming back to not play. But, boy, they'll help us in 2 years.
Hey, the portal's closed.
Yeah, right. They're not going.
You don't have a choice,
right.
bro.
Yeah, but it was so anyway, Chinyelu back. Florida, I can't imagine that there's a poll in which they won't be number 1 to start the season. I guess I don't know if that's great because the target, and we'll talk a lot about this between now and November, obviously. The target will be as squarely on their back as it's ever been. It is, as much as any team that I can remember has ever had.
Without a doubt. I do think it helps. I'm almost positive their first game of the season is against Miami and Tampa. That's got to be the same arena, right?
Yeah.
That they just lost to Iowa in?
Yeah, it is.
So I think that helps too. It's like,
I didn't think about that.
It's your first game. You're going to go there. Obviously, Miami's a good team, but Florida should win the game. It's like, it's good that they just get that all out of their system in game 1. Like, be in that venue, kind of relive it.
That's right.
And then as soon as you ideally beat Miami and leave, that memory is gone.
Yeah.
And it's all about this team. And, because the pressure is going to be, it is going to be gargantuan. I think they're going to be under more pressure than the 04s because there was still that euphoria. You still couldn't believe it as a Gators fan that they actually won the national championship in men's basketball. You couldn't believe it. So it was hard to get wrapped up in expectations. They were there, but it didn't feel crippling. In 09 football, it did.
Yeah, right.
Because you gotten used to it. You had 1-3. You had Tebow coming back for his senior year.
It was crippling.
It was a loaded team.
Yeah,
that was crippling.
Yeah,
and this will be as well. But it's what he has done at Florida is, it's not Kirk Cignetti at Indiana, but it's close. Yeah. I think it's in the same. Florida had obviously more history,
right?
But for Todd Golden to show up in Gainesville and take over what I'd say was mediocre, but maybe above average kind of program.
A non-tournament team is what he took over.
Yeah, and
he took over a team that had not been in the tournament and didn't go to the tournament his first year. That's a non-tournament team.
And before if he wins it this coming season, he'll be leaving year 5 with 2 national titles, 3 ones. I'm assuming they're 1 seed, 3 1 seeds, and at least 1 SEC regular season and tournament title. And that's if this club doesn't win either one of those, which would be shocking. So, it really is incredible what he's been able to do in light of a changing climate and everything. It just shows that if, it's the polar opposite of Billy Napier. It just shows that coaches don't need time. That, if they're the goods, you will see it immediately.
Yeah, and we have seen it with Todd Golden. All right, a lot of things to talk about. We'll get to more of that later. But for starters, let's talk a little bit of golf. Lee Smith joins us to recap the PGA and a whole lot more. Our golf report is next. Stay with us.
It's the ride home with the Frangie Show. From the Harrell and Harrell studio. Don't settle for less than you deserve.
This is the playmaker, Michael Irvin.
I'm Ken Wisenhunt.
I'm Paul Spicer.
And you are listening to 1010XL.
1010XL.
Big 1010XL.
92.5 FM.
Welcome to Key Buick GMC, proudly family-owned and operated since 1943. Come see why they're North Florida's new and pre-owned truck center, conveniently located on Southside and JTB, just minutes from the St. John's Town Center. At Key Buick GMC, every new vehicle comes with our lifetime powertrain warranty. Key Buick GMC, we are professional grade. Online at keybuickgmc.com. Lifetime powertrain warranty covers engine, transmission, drivetrain only. Exclusions apply. See dealer for details.
We went to probably 4 or 5 jewelry stores.
Jacksonville's Mitch Fandel went to the town center looking for an engagement ring, but found the big box corporate jewelry experience wasn't for him.
Nobody was really helping us. One of the stores, some people walked in behind us and they were offered beer and champagne, and I'm wearing shorts and a cutoff, so I don't really look the part. So I was like, well, I guess we'll go somewhere else. I don't know if they think we can afford to shop here or what.
So he went across and discovered locally owned Beards Diamonds.
When I walked in, everybody just said, hey, welcome in, welcome to Beards.
Mitch loved the service and attention he got at Beards and ended up with a bigger, better quality diamond.
It was about twice the size of what I thought I could afford, and it was also about twice the size of what my wife thought she wanted.
Today, Mitch tells all his friends, shop local, shop Beards.
You're going to get the best deal on the best diamond.
Unbeatable value, unmatched selection, uncompromising personal service.
Anybody that I know, I want them to shop at Beards.
Beards Diamonds, St. John's Town Center.
Joe Coward, Matt Hayes, and Leon Searcy are serving up your daily dose of sports talk specials from scratch.
I didn't know you could.
XL Primetime is driven by Duval Ford.
These are delicious.
Noon to 2 weekdays on 1010XL.
Credit card interest rates are now over 29%. Most people are only making the minimum payments, so they're getting nowhere. Hey, Prosser here, but here's what many homeowners don't realize. Using the equity in your home, you can easily access hundreds of thousands in cash. With Loan Pronto's Rapid Equity Loan, you can pay off your credit card, your existing HELOC, your car loans, or get money for that home improvement project. One client just got $100,000 approved and saved over $1,500 a month. Here's the best part. With Loan Pronto, you can do it all from your phone. With zero out-of-pocket, no hard credit pull up front, no appraisal, no long drawn-out bank process, and no touching your first mortgage. Rates are at a near 3-year low. Act now. Go to loanpronto.com. See how much you can get in about 60 seconds. Loan Pronto, 2,800 5-star Google reviews. Call 904-999-1508 or go to loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender. NMLS 1661781. NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
College football isn't just a season, it's a sisterhood. Bold Ladies is the women's membership group of the TaxSlayer Gator Bowl, where community, connection, and college football come together. This is Stacy from 1010XL, and I enjoy my membership. From exclusive events to networking, philanthropy, and unforgettable game day experiences, Bold Ladies is where women make an impact. Visit TaxSlayerGatorBowl.com and join today.
Hi, Frank Frangie here, inviting you to join my wife and me June 22nd of 2027 as we experience the food, wine, and culture of iconic Italy with Colette. Our journey takes us to historic cities and enchanting medieval towns. We'll enjoy a wonderful 7-night stay in the Montecatini Term A famous resort and spa town nestled in the heart of the rolling hills of Tuscany. Visit the cultural treasures of Florence, Pisa, and lovely Lucca. Along the way, we'll discover the food, wine, and old world charm, and even have a special chef-led cooking class. This and so much more. Colette handles the details, flights, hotels, meals, and the local experiences. Your only job is to have the time of your life. Don't miss joining my wife and me in Italy. Now, to learn more, visit 1010XL.com or call Colette at 800-581-8942.
Come away with me.
That's 1010XL.com or call Colette at 800-581-8942.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Still present, ready. Farah doesn't flinch.
Time now for the tour update with Players Championship Executive Director Lee Smith.
Here it comes.
On 1010XL.
All right, it is time to talk golf. Our buddy Lee Smith is here talking golf. How are you, man?
Doing great.
Good to see you.
Fantastic. It's 88 degrees outside,
goodness,
sunny.
it's
This
fantastic,
is the time to play early in the morning before you have a afternoon radio show, isn't it?
Yeah,
this is the best time.
And in the off chance, Lee, that you don't have a show tomorrow, you're probably playing in the morning.
Yeah,
I'm just saying. It's that hypothetically speaking, of course.
Might get in 27. That person might.
I may never stop tomorrow. So, good to have you in. What a big picture, 10,000 feet. Before we get into the weeds here, what did you make of last week? I thought it was. We say it every week. The drama we've had. Now there wasn't the last hour drama. Okay. At the end of the tournament, but I thought up until then, another fantastic week of golf at the PGA.
Absolutely. I had a great leaderboard, lots of name recognition leading in. Obviously, the golf course setup, I think, lended itself to having such a tightly built group going in. With what was it? You were in 5 shots of the lead and you teed off 4 hours before the leaders.
Right.
That type of thing. I think Justin Thomas posted that 65 a few hours before the leaders. They weren't even on the back 9 yet. And really, I think the golf course and maybe the limited amount of birdies lended itself to having that tightly packed group. But to think that I think I heard that going into the back 9, maybe Rory was 4 under or going into hole 9, Rory was 4 under and Aaron Rai was 3 under.
Something like that, yeah.
For context.
Right.
And then Aaron Rai ends up at 9, winning by 3.
Right.
Just how great he played those last 10 holes. Just a great thing for him and another local guy winning a major championship.
I missed a memo on that. I said that Monday. I didn't know he lived here. I didn't know it till the broadcast. Is that widely known?
We see him all the time.
Oh, you do?
In PGA, down eating lunch.
Okay. Because he plays out
at PGA Tour Global Home. He'll go out and practice and come over and use the gym and eat in the cafeteria. And just a really, really nice guy. And what a better story. It's great that him winning allowed people the insights into why 2 gloves and why iron covers and why those types of things that really has led him to being such a great victor and people appreciating his story.
What'd you think of Arana Mink?
I thought the golf course setup was good. I think it's one that we don't get to see very often, and it's one that has a tremendous amount of history and those types of things. I personally like the PGA Championship. As a PGA member myself, I like the PGA Championship almost setting itself apart as maybe more of a a birdie, an eagle, and kind of a low scoring major, it just would set itself up a little more identity wise, and because 4 weeks later we have the major that kicks your teeth in.
Right.
We've got one of those.
Which this year is at Shinnecock.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. We've got one of those. But I think it certainly delivered on the drama and the leaderboard and that type of thing. So I think ultimately it provided a really exciting finish.
Let me ask you. I was going to ask you this when we're watching the finish. As a guy that knows golf a little bit, but also a very good golfer, why doesn't anyone wear two gloves? I can tell you, as a baseball player playing in the 70s, you wore one glove. Do you know that? You batted, you hit with one glove. You wore the glove under your glove, the field, and then we all hit with one. Nobody in the 70s, nobody played baseball hit with two gloves, and then all of a sudden everybody hit with two gloves. Why has nobody? And we know, to your point, right? I told a story about growing up in England. It was cold, but what's the advantage, disadvantage? Why is that a thing or not a thing?
I think it's probably more than anything. You got Tommy Two Gloves and you got Aaron Rye are probably the two people. You've got more people that play without gloves than without any glove,
right?
Like
correct.
a Freddie and others than you do with two. I think because it's your only connectivity point to your instruments and your weapon is that it typically is a feel thing. And you don't typically need it for grip because those guys can change their grips out every week if they want,
right.
or have and clean them and do all those things from a grip and a connectivity standpoint. So I think it's always more been a feel thing. But I bet there'll be a lot more people at least trying it these days. I can only imagine the Edwin Watts and the Dick Sporting Goods getting the calls for, do you have right and left gloves? There's probably a lot more calls for that or internet purchases than previously, that's for sure. But I think it's a feel thing.
I'd be lying if I didn't say I wondered, you play with a glove and then you take your glove off when you putt and then you put your glove back on. I don't know why.
Why do you, I mean, I don't to even ask know you why. that same question, why do you do it when you putt?
You know what? Because to feel the club.
Yeah.
To feel the club.
And I think that typically is the reason why you wouldn't do it on full shots also.
But it's funny when my wife asked me that, she was, why we're talking about the two gloves. She goes, why do you wear just one glove and then take it off when you putt? I said, I mean, giving an honest answer, I don't really know. That's just what you do.
Well,
I mean, being honest, I don't really know why I do that. It's just what you do.
Because guess what? If I told you you'd make more putts, you'd putt with cart mittens on.
I'd putt with a turtleneck on. Okay, absolutely right. Exactly right.
In terms of looking at the Byron Nelson underway today, really interesting storyline right out of the gate. Brooks Koepka 8 under today with a 63 one-shot lead. He's talked about, I think even a local reporter asked him this week, like, why are you here? Like, why is this an event you picked? And he was like, well, I'm paying a penalty, so there's events I can't get into. So I need to play the events that I am eligible to play in as part of my return to the PGA Tour. But if Koepka is able to get this done, and Scheffler played well, so I mean, it's probably going to be Scheffler, but let's just assume Brooks Koepka wins. Does that immediately go? Does it expand for him immediately, or would it only expand for like the next season? Do you know kind of how that works and the incentives here that Koepka's playing for?
Yeah, I think the easiest way to explain it for those at home listening is that when the signature events were created, there were additional pathways created throughout the season. So you weren't just eligible for signature events by your previous year's play only. So the pathways of the Swing 5 and the next 10 were created almost, this is probably not the right word, but almost as reshuffles throughout the season. So if you're playing particularly well in certain events, that you have another way that is much more recently biased to gain access into those signature events. And so as an example, like the Aon Swing 5 is the program. Brooks winning this tournament would kind of jump to the top of that, as it's basically your FedEx Cup points for that year, that for that particular time and that particular season that you're currently not eligible from the previous year into the signature events. And we've seen guys have great starts to the year to get access. I mean, Alex Fitzpatrick is a perfect example. He wasn't a member. He won the tournament with his brother, and that swung him into getting into signature events. So I think Brooks, making the comment of digging it out of the dirt and finding the passion and going to these events because if he has a chance to play, he wants to play. I think that's a great reward for him to get access to some of those going forward.
Lee Smith is with us, our golf analyst, as well as the executive director of the Players. We always mention Live, almost like we feel obligated, but I do for this. Obviously, by now, if you follow golf, you know that there's this new plan and they got a new model and they're trying to survive. Is it going to survive? In 2 years, will there be Live, in your opinion?
I would say yes. I mean, I think it just feels like they're making putting a big focus on who they've hired to work with, and obviously you hear the rumors, which that's all they are when it comes to us as the PGA Tour, but around bankruptcy protection and finding investors, and it has to be under a significantly different model, I would assume. But it sounds like that they want to make a go of it with different investors and a different model and maybe different purses and maybe different players and maybe different pathways into, different types of things, but certainly have a focus around keeping team golf alive in the way that they do, and playing in maybe some countries that don't normally have a very high level golf event, but it seems like they're gonna work hard to make a go of it.
I think, and Hayes weigh in here too. When the USFL came around, Lee, and we had a team in Jacksonville, obviously, in the '80s, the only chance it had was to steal Herschel Walker and Jim Kelly from the NFL and whoever. You're still only as good as the players people want to watch. I would think if Live now is no longer, at the end of the day, they don't have Koepka already and Patrick Reed, and at the end of the day, they're not going to have DeChambeau and whoever. I can't imagine it could work, right? I mean, I can't.
I can't imagine anybody that would invest.
Yeah, I mean, just from a common sense standpoint,
any money
I can't imagine that it would work.
Yeah, I think there are all levels of professional golf, and as you know, there's a lot of talent in a lot of different places that are always looking for places to play.
Yeah.
And so when you think of, is it going to be $30 million purses, $25 million purses, $5 million purses, how they ultimately make a go of it, will obviously be what they have to determine. And to your point around investors, and I think what I saw, the rumor was that they would be profitable in 20 months or something of that nature in their new model. It'll be interesting to see what that looks like going forward.
In terms of Scheffler, obviously played pretty well today, shot 66. Again, 3 off the lead. Koepka shot 63. Boy, if he makes even just a handful of putts this past weekend, we've said this before, but I don't know if I'd say disappointing result for Scottie Scheffler at the PGA Championship, but my goodness, I mean, he missed, it felt like 17 putts inside of 10 feet.
Yeah. You hear typically on Sunday, the leader, there's always a commentary around he is 18 for 18 inside 10 feet or whatever it is. Obviously, that's the crucial part of the game. I think I saw today, Koepka, that's been what has held him back, is that I think he was third in strokes gained putting. So if he would have entered around, knowing he was going to finish that high, you'd expect him to have the lead based on the way he's hit it. And I think last week, what was it? Just the one round, Scotty missed 5 or 6 that were inside 8 feet. And so it's always the key, whether they're for par or for birdie, to keep a round going, keep the momentum. And I don't think there's any doubt that if Scotty makes those putts, we could have had a different outcome last week, or at least a different stretch run. And chances are, sleeping in his own bed this week, if he makes them this week, he's probably going to be right there in prime time on Sunday.
All right, change gears a little bit. Jim Furyk, who was just announced, he'll be one of the assistant captains of the President's Cup. We all know by now he's going to be the captain of the Ryder Cup for a second time. We know Jim. I know you know Jim. Jim's a local guy. He's very good to our charity. I think he's probably very good to a lot of people. He's just a good dude, all the way around a good dude. But that's a cool thing that this often he's asked to lead, isn't it? I mean, that's more than just having had a very good career as a player. Speak to that a little bit, because I think it's and if you know Jim, you understand why. I think it's a cool thing.
Yeah, no, I think it's great for this area as as you mentioned, Jim and Tabitha do such an amazing job with their event in October, with their foundation and contributions and boards and other opportunities that they serve on to build and grow organizations that need it here. I think it speaks to probably two things, at least in my opinion. One, I think it speaks to the relationships that he's built over the years with players and vice captains, and the fact that he's stayed attached to current players, and everybody feels like he can lead 22-year-olds and 30-year-olds even, while he's playing the Champions Tour. And then at the same time, I think it just speaks to overall leadership and the fact that he's got the trust in the golf organizations to be a part of multiple President's Cups and now lead the Ryder Cup, because I saw an interview with him. I think it might have been at the Kentucky Derby that they had him, and he was talking about making some changes and doing things a little bit different and bringing people together. And I think that's what ultimately our overall kind of Team USA structure needs, and to have some consistency around being a vice captain at a President's Cup and then being a captain. I think Jim will do a great job.
Yeah, I would agree. Give us an early thought about Shinnecock. It hosted the U.S. Open in 2018 the last time. Koepka won it. It won over.
Won over.
Zach Johnson was very critical of it on the third round, saying they've lost the course. What a treacherous test we could be watching unfold Father's Day weekend.
Yeah, I think weather will play a lot to do with that, Hayes. I think, ultimately it is, if you've ever been out there, I mean, there isn't anything to stop a zephyr from blowing across those golf courses out there. And it's such an unbelievable place with National Golf Links and Shinnecock and Sabonic and others out there that it's kind of a hotbed for big time golf. And I think if the wind blows, course setup will be very, very important, kind of like it was. You can't get greens too awful fast, especially ones that are unprotected, when you're going to get 10, 15, 20 mile an hour winds. So it'll be, I'm sure the USGA is paying close attention to long range forecasts and those types of things as to mowing patterns and rolling and double cutting and how the speed of the greens. Because the last thing you want to do is, obviously you want to play. They always want to play towards even par, which is a lot of fun to watch. And but at the same time, you don't want to lose the golf course and make it to where balls are rolling on the greens when you're trying to putt and all those types of things, which is a lot to do with weather and wind.
Lee Smith, our golf analyst and executive director of the Players Championship. How you playing? You playing much? Played member guest last week.
Yeah.
How'd you play? Play all right?
We played all right. It came right down to the 45th hole, and we lost the 45th hole to not make it into the shootout. But Jeff Wyatt, the member that invited me, we had a fantastic time, and he's just a fantastic guy. We had a great time, and it was really the first time I've played Glenn Kernan back-to-back days.
Right.
Obviously talking about Jim Furyk, he's done a really, really good job out there, and I think it's another great property for people to have access to here in Jacksonville.
I can't imagine why anybody would invite Lee. He's a great guy, likes to drink beer, and plays to a zero. I don't know why would you invite that guy?
It's always my first question: is Coors Light available?
Lee, thanks, buddy. We appreciate it. Back in a moment on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
The Frangie Show from the Harold and Harold studio. Don't settle for less than you deserve.
I'm with Greg from Cycles of Jacksonville. And when warm weather is here, we got to take advantage of it, Greg. What does Honda have, especially for beach weather?
It's riding season. Full line of small motorcycles, scooters, you name it, they've got it. We also have a full line of Vespa scooters in stock and ready to ride to the beach today.
If you log on cyclesofjacksonville.com, they've got it all?
Got it all. Cyclesofjacksonville.com. Come and see us there or on the showroom.
Atlantic and Regency, check out Cycles of Jacksonville.
Imagine this. You've got the burgers ready in a backyard full of guests. And folks, that's a strong lineup. But a clogged drain on a holiday, that can change everything in a hurry. Before kickoff, make sure your plumbing is ready to go. Call Duck Duck Rooter. They've got experience, honest pricing, and a team you can count on. And right now, get your main sewer line cleaned, plus a camera inspection for just $129. Outside cleanout is required because the only thing you want overflowing this weekend is that cooler. So when you're stuck, call the Duck. 904-862-6769 or duckduckrooter.com.
So I'm here with Danny Van Sickle, Director of the Electrical Training Alliance. Danny, tell me about your program.
Hey, Rick, we're a 5-year electrical apprenticeship. Our students start out making over $30,000 a year and right now graduate making over $80,000 a year, including benefits. There is no tuition and no student debt. You just have to apply and get accepted.
Did you say no tuition and no student debt?
You heard that right, Rick. Once you're accepted into the program, your only costs are the books and the course fees, around $700 a year.
Wow, that sounds like an amazing opportunity. How can I learn more?
Just go to etajax.org and you can apply there.
Jumbo Shrimp Baseball is home at VyStar Ballpark this week and weekend. Join us tonight for Coors Light Thirsty Thursday. Tomorrow, a special UF Health Hat giveaway for EMS Appreciation Night on Friday with a Honey Dripper Sunshade giveaway from Arlington Toyota and VyStar on Saturday and CSX Military Appreciation on Sunday. Get your tickets now at jackshrimp.com.
Prosser here for Lifetime Flooring. You've heard us rave about Lifetime Enclosures. Now let's talk about Lifetime Flooring. I can tell you firsthand, the products and services, the best in Jacksonville. As you know, updating your floors is one of the most dramatic changes you can make to your home. Call the experts at Lifetime Flooring now and ask about their buy one room, get one room free promotion through Memorial Day. 0% financing available to meet any budget. Visit their beautiful showroom just off Phillips Highway and tell them Prosser sent you.
If you're heading to the Og or you're already part of the nation's oldest, don't forget to drop into Sunset Grill. For over 30 years, serving up great chowder, seafood, wings, and cold beer. Sunset Grill, somewhere on A1A, St. Augustine Beach.
Tired of changing out bad sod year after year? Get it done right with Roundtree Sod. Big or small, they have it, and always supplied farm fresh. For a lush, legendary green lawn, call 7414-SOD for a free estimate. 7414-SOD.
When you're hungry, go big, and more importantly, go to Dailies, where they got anything and everything to tantalize your taste buds and fill you up. At Dailies, our barbecue beef brisket sandwich is slow smoked to perfection, tender, juicy, and full of bold flavor. It's the kind of sandwich that truly satisfies. Try the barbecue brisket sandwich at Dailies. Meanwhile, some favorites never go out of style. The Duval sub at Dailies is stacked, loaded, and made with the bold flavor you want in every bite. Fresh ingredients, big taste. It's a local favorite. Grab the Duval sub today at Dailies. Or maybe you just want a delicious chicken sandwich. Some choices just work. The chicken sandwich at Dailies is crispy on the outside, it's juicy on the inside, and it is full of flavor. Perfect for lunch, perfect for dinner, perfect anytime hunger hits. So grab the chicken sandwich today at Dailies. Dailies is made fresh, it's made local, and Dailies is built for big appetites. I'll see you there today.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. When it's game time, Farah doesn't flinch.
It's a Stanley Pools Thursday on The Frangie Show. Since 1988, the experts in pools, pavers, screen enclosures, it's Stanley Pools.
We sure appreciate our friends from Stanley Pools, the best in the business. They've done our pool, they've redone it, they've built our whole backyard with pavers and walls and pergolas. We sure appreciate them, Stanley Pools. It is now time for the big thing of the day. It's brought to you by Big Chief Tire. For all your tire and automotive needs, trust me, it's where I go. I went there this week. It's Big Chief Tire with 6 locations in town. Big Chief Tire online. We keep jacksrolling.com. That's the website to check it out. I think the big thing today, with not as much stuff going on in the world, is the Chinyelu announcement. I think the fact that Ruben Chinyelu is coming back, we all knew he was coming back. Florida now has 15 scholarship players. I think their their payroll is about $25 million. I think it'll be as much as anybody in the country. That's what I've been told. Ruben Chinyelu, Alex Condon, Thomas Houck, Denzel Aberdeen, Boogie Flan. I can't imagine there's a better / more experienced team in the country, starting team in the country. We've gone back and forth about, are you better off to have all this talent, or are you better off to have experience, these older guys? Hayes, this is one of the few teams we'll ever see that really does have both. I mean, all 5 of those guys are in their last year of college basketball. There's no debating that. They're going to start 5 players who are without question in their 5th and final, maybe not 5th, but in their final year of college basketball. It's hard to imagine the target that will be on their chest and how many people will be talking about how good this team will be. We'll see if it plays out, but it's amazing the conversation that will be had about the Florida basketball team.
They bring back over 80% of their scoring from a team that won the SEC regular season title and was a 1 seed. They bring back 80% of their scoring, and that doesn't include Denzel Aberdeen, who has already played for this coach before and been teammates with Thomas Houck and Alex Condon and Ruben Chinyelu before.
And won a national title with them.
Correct.
And was on the floor, by the way.
I mean,
at the end of the game.
I don't know what else you could possibly need to be preseason number 1.
In Florida's national championship, you know who scored their last point?
Aberdeen.
Denzel Aberdeen.
Yeah. And so, and it wasn't just he also had the save that, Clayton throws a ball. He kind of gets in trouble.
Right.
Just sort of throws it past midcourt. Aberdeen has to haul to get there to keep it in bounds. And then Houston fouls him. He goes to the line and makes 1 or 2 to make it where the Cougars at least have to hit a 3 to win the title. So yeah, obviously Denzel Aberdeen's a player that they trust. I thought he played well at Kentucky last year. The games that I watched, I didn't think Aberdeen was an issue. I thought Kentucky had a lot of other issues. I don't think they're particularly well coached. But Aberdeen, I thought, was a consistent player for Kentucky from what I saw. So I don't think you're getting a player that left and now is coming back and is worse. I think Aberdeen grew in Lexington. I think he's going to be a more complete, better player for Todd Golden in this second run with the Gators. They just have, they just have everything that you could want. I would anticipate in terms of, we talked about how bad the 3-point shooting was. I think that'll pick up. Clavzar will play more. Aberdeen's better shooting the 3 than Xavier Lee was. I think Alex Condon is either going to improve or he just simply won't take them anymore. So I don't think you're going to have as many wild Condon 3s as you had last year because he'll either get better or I think they'll just stop doing it. Houck should be better. So you've got the 2 European players that are very gifted shooting the 3. Isaiah Brown's got an offseason to get better, and he made some big 3s for this team. So they just have everything. They're going to be incredibly deep. Obviously, it's sports. It's not played on paper. Things can go awry. Their team chemistry, which you would think would be great, maybe something happens and it disrupts it. But maybe they start peeking ahead to to their lives post UF. But if they can stay in the moment and say, look, for the next whatever it is, for the next 300 days, if we just lock in for this next 300 days, we have a chance to do something really special. I'm not betting against them. They're not, like I said, they're not going undefeated. That just will never happen again. But could they go 36-4 and win the national title? Absolutely.
Yeah. So the story between now and November will be, can anybody beat the Gators? And again, that's just never been the case. And I want to give you credit. I want to go back one more time to this. When it all ended, you said they're all coming back. And I said, you've lost your mind. There's no chance Thomas Houck comes back. We had that conversation back and forth. And buddy, you dug in. You were convinced they were all coming back. Maybe you funded the team. Maybe that's it.
Yeah.
Maybe it's a payroll thing. That's how
well,
you
I
do
do technically fund the team.
Yes, you do.
I give a little bit.
Yeah. Hey, listen.
Yeah.
If it's 25 million and you give $25 a month, listen, that's part of it.
That's part of it. You're welcome.
But you really did. Yeah. Hayes, if you weren't listening a couple months ago, whenever it was, Hayes said they're all coming back. I said, Hayes, they're not. I know you get your wishful thinking thing and you talk yourself into this stuff and you're all happy Gator guy, but there's no chance Thomas Houck. You never budge. They're all back. I still can't believe C.J. Ingram and the backups came back. But they're all back. So
it's incredible.
It really is. So Gator basketball in a great shape. Gator baseball, by the way, on the field now. They're playing Alabama. They've already won once in the tournament. They're going to get a regional. I think if they win this game, they get a super. I think this is the game that puts them in the top 8. We will see what winds up happening. Meanwhile, UNF is playing North Alabama. Remember, North Alabama and JU yesterday played for the opportunity to play UNF. North Alabama got that opportunity. Now they're beating the Ospreys. Boy, the Ospreys need to bounce back in this one. Hopefully they can. They're down 6-1, and that game is in the bottom of the 7th. There was a weather delay. I'm trying to see if they're back on the field now, but they were down 6-1 in the bottom of the 7th to North Alabama, the same team to beat JU one day ago. Hayes has headlines after this.
The Frangie Show from the Harold and Harold studio. Don't settle for less than you deserve.
We love winning, and 1010XL wants you to win our contests. We also like to share the winning. That's why we ask you to wait 30 days to win again so others get a chance to have the winning feeling. Find complete contest details at 1010XL.com.
Frank Frangie here. Nimnik Chevrolet is proud to be a 9-time Chevrolet Dealer of the Year recipient, the only dealership in Northeast Florida to ever win this prestigious award. Well, it's earned by treating customers with courtesy, respect, and fairness, all part of Nimnik's Treating You Right guarantee. Now, look, I've been buying my cars from Nimnik forever. That is a true story. I started in 1982 buying my cars from Billy Nimnik Jr. God rest his soul. He taught me how to buy a car, and I've been doing it ever since. I trust my friends at Nimnik. They care about the community. They care about their customers. They do it right. They've supported our charity, Walk Off Charity, so many times. I really do appreciate them. If you want to buy a car, you want to be treated right, not just when you buy the car, but after the sale as well. Well, that's what they do. They care about their customers, they care about this community, and they care about treating you right. So who has put in the most years and stands behind a better experience? That answer is simple. Nobody but Nimnik. Visit their showroom off Cassett or go to nimnikchevy.com. Chevrolet, together let's drive.
You've probably heard the saying, it's not how hard you get hit, it's whether or not you get back up. Well, I'm attorney Brett Hastings, and I have a saying of my own. If you get hit with a personal injury or wrongful death, hit back and fight to make them pay. At Hastings Injury Law, we have the experience you want if you or a loved one suffer a car or trucking accident or wrongful death. Just call 904-HIT-BACK and we'll help you get up and hit back. Office is Jacksonville.
From the tee to the green and everywhere in between, join Dan, Jeff, and PGA Pros for Brunch with the Tour. Teamed up by Clearwater Irrigation and North Florida Medical Centers. Tuesday morning at 8:30 on 1010XL.
Hacker here for Cornerstone Interior Solutions. If your AC is working overtime every summer, your insulation may be the problem. Homeowners and builders across Northeast Florida are calling Cornerstone to upgrade to spray foam insulation. It seals homes, crawl spaces, garages, locking in cool air and blocking out heat. So your home stays cooler, your system runs easier, and your energy bills stay under control. Don't wait for peak heat. Visit CornerstoneInteriorSolutions.com.
Overheard at the Hard Rock Bet Party.
I just got another NBA offer from Hard Rock Bet.
A Hard Rock Bet promo at the Hard Rock Bet Party? That is so meta.
That's not meta. That's Meta World Peace. Meta. Tell them about Hard Rock Bet.
Hard Rock Bet has it all. Live odds for every NBA game, every player prop, same game parlays, you name it. It's the only place I play these days.
Okay, now that is meta.
Hard Rock Bet. Roll with us.
Offered by the Seminole Tribe of Florida. Must be 21 plus and physically present in Florida to wager. Terms and conditions apply. Concerned about your gambling? Call or text 1-833-PLAY-WISE.
What if your next fun day out costs you $70 to play all day? That's exactly what you get at the Battalion Airsoft Arena, the only indoor airsoft battlefield in Jax. Skip the same old boring entertainment choices and step into real action with your crew. Perfect for birthdays, company team building, graduation parties, or just epic weekend fun. No experience, no problem. The Battalion package includes everything: gun, mask, and ammo with unlimited play. So lock in your mission now at BattalionAirsoftArena.com.
Hello, First Coast. I'm sure by now you have seen our bright green GFL trucks and containers throughout the greater Jacksonville area. We're an industry leader in solid waste and would love the opportunity to earn your business. We're committed to customer service, reliability, and have an unwavering focus on safety. Whether commercial or construction, let us haul your waste away. Call 904-760-5880 to get a quote today from GFL, Green for Life.
David Garrard here, and once again, I'm reporting good news about how good my knees are doing following PRP treatment at Southeast Orthopedic Specialist. For an old quarterback like me, my knees are in great shape.
You don't have to be a celebrity or a professional athlete to appreciate the everyday personal attention you'll receive at Southeast Orthopedic Specialists. For any orthopedic need, call on the pros at SOS.
Southeast Orthopedic Specialists. 1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Focused, fueled, fearless, Farah.
Ladies and gentlemen, may I have your attention, please? Gather round.
It's Hayes' Headlines, presented by Harrell & Harrell. Don't settle for less than you deserve. Hear all about it. Here's Hayes Carline.
Welcome back to the Frangie Show. Frank Frangie is here, as is JJ LaSelva. I am Hayes Carline. Thank you to our friends at Harrell & Harrell. Give them a call at 251-1111. You can trust them. They'll take great care of you. Harrell & Harrell, 251-1111. Frank, let's start with college basketball in May. Ruben Chinyelu returning to Florida. He withdraws from the NBA draft. The reigning National Defensive Player of the Year averaged 10.9 points per game and 11.2 rebounds per game for the Gators last season when they won the SEC regular season title. UF is 63-12 when Chinyelu starts.
Yeah, they're going to be a hard team to beat. They got all four starters back from last year, one really good player from 2 years ago that helped them win a national title. They're all 22, 23 years old. They're really skilled. They're really talented. Most of them are going to get at least a cup of coffee in the NBA. They've got an incredibly deep roster, a lot of really good players who won't play. It's the likes of which, at least before the season, we've never seen. Now, we'll see what that means. We'll see how that winds up manifesting itself in the real season. But it's pretty amazing stuff.
The Gators non-conference starting to take a little bit of a shape. The Gators will play Notre Dame in the opening game of the Players Era 8 event in Las Vegas on November 17th. The winner will face Houston-Rutgers winner, so potential for a rematch of the national title game a couple years ago. You have to assume Houston will beat Rutgers. The opposite bracket features Kansas, Auburn, West Virginia, and UNLV. So that's kind of cool. Florida with a chance to play Notre Dame, Houston, and Kansas in Las Vegas if chalk holds.
Yeah, it's a pretty good that tournament's got two phases, one 16 team and one 8 team. They're in the 8-team tournament that includes Houston. No, good for listen, he's proved one thing. He's not afraid to go play people. I mean, there's one thing that Todd Golden, I told you last year, I thought he overscheduled. They're not afraid to play, and this is the team that ought to play whoever. I mean, the way this roster played out, go play whoever.
No doubt about it. Let's get it to the Jaguars. We'll be out there for the next OTA on Tuesday. What are you looking forward to seeing on the defensive side of the ball?
Yeah, I'm going to talk about that a little bit later on, what things we'll be looking forward to when we finally do get a chance to get out there on Tuesday. And one, I'm looking forward to James Gladstone, Liam Cohen, and Tony Baselli all joining the show, which I'm very excited about that. That's all going to happen on Tuesday. Defensively, it's hard to tell much in OTAs about the physical part. I'm interested to see who lines up at the will linebacker. I assume Ventrell Miller gets the first look there. I'm going to watch the safeties because that's an area I'm not as concerned. I'm not as comfortable with. I'm going to watch Travis Hunter. I assume Travis Hunter's going to line up first team opposite Monteric Brown with Jordan Lewis in the slot. But I think that's going to be fun to watch how they deploy. So I think that's part of it. Who's the weak side linebacker? How do they deploy backup edges? All that, I think.
Let's get to college football. Ed Ogeron is back at LSU as Lane Kiffin has hired him to be a special assistant to the head coach.
Of course he is. Of course he is. And
I
by
mean,
the way,
if Netflix isn't all over Baton Rouge for the next year, shame on them.
100%.
Or Prime or whoever wants to do the documentary.
And by the way,
ESPN.
Eddie O's fantastic.
Oh.
I mean, that's a great hire.
Yes.
I mean, that is a great hire. Eddie O's a great recruiter. He's got great charm. He's got great charisma. He's a better football guy than people give him credit for. He's got a title, by the way. So Eddie O that's a great hire by Lane Kiffin.
Yeah, without a doubt. Let's get it to the NBA. SGA leads Oklahoma City to a 122-113 victory to even the series. Wemby struggled with the Thunder's physicality. What's your take on last night's game and also what you think we'll see as we get into Game 3?
It went exactly like I thought it would. I thought the Thunder would bounce back. I did not think it would be particularly close. I didn't think they'd win by 30. I thought they'd play with a presence. I probably thought SGA might score even more than he did, but I'm not surprised it went that way. That was the ultimate counterpunch. I still think the Thunder win the series. I'll still say 6, which means the Spurs win again. But I think the Thunder have the best team in basketball.
Cavs and Knicks have game 2 tonight. Who do you guys like in that one?
The Knicks, right, JJ? I think the Knicks win this one. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm guessing the Cavs get a game before it's over.
At home, though.
Yeah, in Cleveland.
It would be tough tonight.
Yeah, they're not going to win in the Garden.
Lead they blew. I mean,
yeah, I agree with that.
They got to be really low now.
Yeah, so I think they ultimately get a game, but it's not tonight.
Let's get to Major League Baseball. Philly slugger Kyle Schwarber already has 20 home runs. 20 home runs. He leads the Bigs by 3, obviously on an incredible pace, which won't probably keep up. But my goodness, what a start.
Yeah, number 1, he's the best home run hitter in baseball right now. Number 2, it's a home run park. Of all the reasons he went back to the Phillies when a lot of people offered him a lot of money, it's a park for a lot of home runs. I think it's Cincinnati's 1 and Philadelphia's 2, JJ, in terms of home run parks. Yeah,
Yankees.
The Yankees down the right field line. The Yankees for left-handed hitters. You're right. The Philadelphia and Cincinnati for any hitter, but the Yankee Stadium for left-handed hitters.
If Schwarber played in New York, he'd hit just as many.
No question.
He is the guy that, as a Braves fan, I fear the most when he comes up. Even though it's like he doesn't hit for he bats like 230 or something, but I think he has more extra base hits than singles this year. Me and Rick were talking about it the other night. It's basically home run, walk, or strikeout for him.
I believe it.
He has 20 homers. He hasn't even played in the last 3 games.
Yeah, he hits a lot.
He's been sick.
He hits a lot of bombs. No question about it. By the way, he came up as a Cubs catcher. Do you know that?
Yeah. What would be that pace? I mean,
how many games have they played?
Like 50. So he's on pace for maybe like 62, something like that.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well,
I wouldn't be shocked if he gets.
In this day and age, he could do that.
Yeah.
I mean, that would have been unheard of before, but the way people hit home runs now, that could happen.
Let's get to college baseball. North Alabama not doing our local schools any favors in the A-Sun tournament. So North Alabama eliminated JU 5-0 yesterday. We talked about it. It was in a delay for the entire Frangie show yesterday, but North Alabama does go on to beat JU 5-0. North Alabama up on UNF right now, 6-1. Another delay. They're in the bottom of the 7th, so the Ospreys not out of chances, but certainly it's looking pretty gloomy for the Ospreys.
The good part of this is they've now advanced to the double elimination part of the tournament. So UNF can lose and be okay, or at least their season not be over. JU losing yesterday meant it was over, and North Al playing very well. I still, you asked me this the other day, and I thought about it, and I looked even harder and further just to see. I still believe we're talking about a one-bid league, at least this year. So every game matters. Every run matters, because any game you don't win, your season probably has ended. The only team in the Atlantic Sun that is going to go to the NCAA tournament is the team that wins the Atlantic Sun tournament. You can lose once now, but you can't lose twice.
Let's get to the SEC tournament. Florida and Alabama scoreless early on. We're in the bottom of the 2nd, I believe, here. What are the implications for this game, in your opinion, for the Gators?
Yeah, I think Alabama's got the better team. They swept them earlier. I think if the Gators win, I think the Gators have a regional. That means you're one of the best 16 teams. I think if they win this game, they then get a super regional. They played one of the best teams in the schedules in the country. I think if they lose this game and don't win the tournament, they're still getting a regional, not a super. They'll get matched against somebody. The NCAA seeds you 1 through 18. I'm sorry, 1 through 16. The first 8 teams get regionals and supers. Teams 9 through 16 get a regional, but then they're matched against one of the 1 versus 8 for a super regional. That's how important this game is to Florida, I think. I think if they win the game, they get a super.
Miami is up 6-2 on Boston College in the 4th in the ACC tournament. So we'll see. What kind of a club do the Canes have?
You know what, JJ, they're off a little bit this year, aren't they?
They are, but they're missing Daniel Cuvée, who's like a potential first-round pick. He's their third baseman. He should be back by the time the regionals start, which they'll get into the regionals. But if they win today, they play Georgia Tech, who you said yesterday is like
good as
potentially the best team in America.
Good as any team in the country. Yeah, running into Georgia Tech is a.
But yeah, they're not on the level of Florida or Georgia Tech.
Yeah.
Let's get to the PGA Tour. The Byron Nelson is underway. Brooks Koepka with a bogey-free 63 today to lead at 8 under. He's up by 1 shot over a slew of players. Scotty Scheffler shot a 66 today. He is currently tied for 9th in his own logjam there. So couple really cool stories. I'd love to see Koepka win.
I would too.
And then obviously Scheffler's the defending champ here. He was the overwhelming favorite going in. And since Thursday has been his weakest round so far this season, the fact that he went out and shot 66 today probably means that you're getting ready to see some real magic come in these last few days. For him.
My gut tells me Koepka can't hold it. What, again, to the point you've always made, is it because the live guys only played 3 days? I don't know what it is. Is he older? But I don't sense he holds it. But I'd love to see Koepka win it. I'm right with you on that.
Let's get it to soccer. JJ, do we have a podcast that we can promote?
We do. It came out yesterday. It's a lot of it's about Arsenal winning the league. So go to 1010XL's YouTube page, and we are probably the first video on there. So it's JJ's 1010XL Soccer Show, presented by Twin Peaks.
Awesome. Love it. Let's get you out with today's musical note. On this date, 29 years ago, the Foo Fighters released their second album, The Color and the Shape, back in 1997. The album consists of hits like Monkey Wrench and My Hero, but this song, Everlong, is considered the band's anthem. The Foo Fighters were inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in 2021.
One of the great bands of the 90s, no question about it. We'll take a break. When we come back, don't forget Mike Fleming comes by from Firewatch in about 10, 15 minutes. When we come back, though, we'll talk a little Jags football. Stay with us.
It's the ride home with the Frangie Show from the Harold and Harold studio. Don't settle for less than you deserve.
We're a pack of scary, indestructible alpha dogs. Nobody's giving up around here, and don't you forget it, ever. You're Rex, your king, your duke, your boss. I'm 1010XL.
This is Hayes Carline for Harold and Harold. You know, I don't just talk about Harold and Harold. My family has trusted them. Holt and I actually go way back. We went to school together. Over the years, I've recommended Harold and Harold to my own friends and family because I've seen firsthand how they treat their clients. It's what they call the Harold Promise. You'll be treated like family, and they'll always work to make sure you take home more than they do. If you've been injured, call Harold and Harold at 251-1111.
Hey, poker players, let's ride to the riches. Best Bet St. Augustine is giving away a brand new all-terrain side-by-side vehicle and cash prizes during the Ride to the Riches promotion. From May 1st through August 7th, every hour of poker and table games played at Best Bet St. Augustine earns you a chance to win over $40,000 in cash and prizes, including a top-of-the-line side-by-side all-terrain vehicle. Visit bestbetjacks.com for details. That's bestbetjacks.com, and we'll see you in St. Augustine.
Hayes Carline here for Atlantic Infinity. I'm loving my new QX60, and right now you can lease one or lock in just 1.9% financing for 60 months, and every new Infinity comes with the Atlantic Infinity Promise. That's over $7,000 in added value. That's one of many reasons why I bought mine there. It was just a great experience. The service department, incredible. Was just in there the other day for my first oil change. Do what I did. Make your next ride an Infinity from Atlantic Infinity, and those 2027 QX65s are coming soon. Visit AtlanticInfinity.com or visit the showroom near Atlantic in St. John's Bluff.
Catch the sights and sounds of the great outdoors from anywhere in the city. Go hunting and fishing with Jeff Lageman, Captain Kevin Favor, and Captain Kirk Waltz on the Nimnicht Outdoors Show every Saturday morning from 7 to 10 on 1010XL.
In this age of globalization, we've learned that bigger isn't always better. Ever tried to get phone help from a big corporation? From a real person? Good luck. That is what's so nice about Mike Merritt's Heating and Air. Unlike publicly traded conglomerates with headquarters in faraway cities, Mike Merritt's Heating and Air remains family-owned and operated by Mike, your neighbor. Mike Merritt has delivered hometown service, integrity, and pricing for generations. The big guys incentivize their techs to sell you new equipment. Mike's team emphasizes repair first. We only sell you equipment if your current equipment is worn out and beyond repair. And let's be honest about price. Small operations without much overhead can sometimes lowball your job, but you can't trust just anyone with a truck. They may be here today and gone tomorrow. Mike Merritt has been keeping North Florida cool for more than 3 decades. That's experience and dedication you can count on. Call today or see us on the web.
Florida license number CAC 050384.
Home of the Jaguars. WJXL AM Jacksonville Beach. WJXL FM Jacksonville Beach.
Step inside Twin Peaks, warm wood, stone accent, and the mountain retreat vibe that hits the second you walk in. Massive TVs line up every wall, turning every seat into front row views of all the action. ET here, and I'm staying here for a while because of the smell of the wings, the burgers, and the 29-degree draft beer chills and frosted mugs like it's straight from the summer. The bar stays lively, and the Twin Peaks girls keep the whole place feeling fun and welcoming. For the ultimate sports lodge experience, it's always Twin Peaks. Eat, drink, scenic views.
In a sea of big box corporate chain jewelry stores here, Beard's Diamonds is a refreshing alternative.
I grew up in Jacksonville, and we have been shopping at Beard's for over 2 decades.
Meet Richard Skinner. Richard's journey with Beard's started when nobody could even come close on the engagement ring he wanted.
We did shop around that stone and that particular setup with different jewelers, and Beard's was able to come in significantly lower. It was a no-brainer.
Since then, he's become another voice in the word-of-mouth advertising that has made Beard's stronger than ever.
I have referred my friends and sisters and brothers, and they have all had a very, very pleasurable experience at Beard's. The selection is great. The staff is awesome. It's a well-run business that really does care about their clients and their customers.
And unlike the others at Town Center, Beard's is a locally owned family jeweler.
The fact that they're locally owned, it does give you a little bit more personal experience. They actually have a desire to better the city of Jacksonville.
Beard's Diamonds. Online at beardsdiamonds.com.
I'm Max Fink with your 1010XL Southeast Orthopedic Specialist local sports update brought to you by 5 Star Bath Solutions. Gators golfer Luke Poulter has won the individual regional championship in Columbus, Ohio, qualifying for the Division I NCAA Golf Championships. This year's tournament will be held at Omni La Costa Resort in Carlsbad, California from May 29th, and the individual champ will be crowned on June 1st. It's 85 degrees at 5 o'clock. Time and temp brought to you by Bueller Air and Plumbing. Stay cooler with Bueller.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Still, present, ready. Farah doesn't flinch.
It's a Stanley Pools Thursday on The Frangie Show. Since 1988, the experts in pools, pavers, screen enclosures, it's Stanley Pools.
And we thank our friends from Stanley Pools. Gosh, they do a terrific job. Our friends at Stanley Pools are so good. They've been doing it since '88. I saw Greg Stanley last week, talked to him again yesterday, doing some other work for us. They've rebuilt our pool. They've done our pools, the pavers, the pergolas, the walls back there, everything. They can redo the lighting back there. They redo your backyard, and they're the best of the pool business. They actually treat our pools as well. So anything you need in the pool business, I promise you, my friends, from Stanley Pools can handle it, and they do a fantastic job. All right, you asked me a moment ago, what am I looking for on the defensive side? What's the vibe of the OTAs? Obviously, last year it was excitement because of the newness, excitement because of the presence of Travis Hunter, but we didn't know what they had, right? Now I think the vibe is going to be, that's going to look like a Super Bowl contending team, don't you think?
Yeah, I mean, it absolutely should. It'll be interesting, I think, defensively to see. And again, we're not going to be able to tell a ton because there's no contact, but I still wonder, once Cohen and Gladstone and Baselli get an extended look at this team defensively, if it doesn't start to pop to them that they've got to go get some edge help from a veteran free agent. I mean, I will be curious to see how they, handle it going through drills until they do. But, I mean, to me, you just can't have Josh Hines Allen, Trayvon Walker, and then your next guy is Danny Strigo or BJ Green or a rookie mid-round pick in Wesley Williams or a late-round rookie. I mean, to me, it radiates off the page when you look at the roster and the depth chart of what the depth looks like at edge. And I get that the 2 veterans that they brought in last year didn't make really any kind of impact, but that doesn't mean that you just stop. That doesn't mean that Von Miller wouldn't make an impact here, or whoever they, were interested in pursuing. So that, I think, is going to be really interesting, is seeing what does the defense look like when the reps that are occurring in Hines Allen or Walker are not out there.
I will tell you this to that end. I am very, and I agree with you. I agree with what you said. If Von Miller's there and you can afford him, why not kick the tires of what's left? But I am interested, because Strigo and Green were pretty good last year, Strigo particularly, I am interested to see what it's like this year. How much do both of them develop over the offseason? How much are they better? Even more than they have the two rookies that they drafted later in the draft who will get a chance. But Strigo and Green have me in. I mean, they were pretty good. They were pretty good. I agree with you. Do you want Strigo and Green if you could have a guy like Von Miller or a veteran? I hear you, but I'm intrigued to see that. I'm intrigued to see what happens at weak side linebacker. Do they alternate Branson Combs in for Ventrell Miller, who I think will get the first reps? Is that what happens? I'm interested in safety. I mean, is Caleb Ransaw a starter now? Do you have to earn that? Are the starters Antonio Johnson and Eric Murray, and Ransaw chomping at the bit behind both of those guys? I'm very intrigued by what happens at safety. All of that. I have a pretty good idea that Foye Luakin's the middle linebacker, and I think I know the starting 4 defensive linemen. Other than that, I think that whole thing's got, well, I take it back. And Dennis Gardeck and Base will be the strong side linebacker. But you get my point. For a team that's as good as they are, for a team that doesn't have a lot of question on offense, you pretty much know the offensive lineman plus the depth. You know the 3 starting receivers. You know the starting tight end. You now probably know the 2 tight end look with Borkesher. You know the quarterback. You have a pretty good idea who the 3 prominent running backs will be. So there's not a lot of mystery to me with the offense, but probably why you asked me about the defense earlier. But the defense, there is some. I'm intrigued to see, and you're not going to tell a lot in an OTA where nobody's hitting anybody, but I'll be interested to see the rotations and how they deploy there.
Another thing, too, will be Travis Hunter. Like, does he do anything? I mean, what's he cleared to be able to do? Are they going to take a cautious approach with Travis Hunter, even if he's cleared? So, despite it being a fairly low intensity practice, with extreme limitations on what the CBA allows them to do, I am really interested to see what kind of a role, if any, does Travis Hunter have in Tuesday's OTA. So, that'll be very interesting as well. And if he doesn't do much, then what do they do at corner? Because obviously you don't have Jordan Lewis. We know Jordan Lewis isn't going to be out there. So I'm interested in seeing, other than Monteric Brown, who else gets out there in the order in which they get out there.
All right, we'll take a break. When we come back, our friend Mike Fleming is here. He's from Firewatch. He'll talk all about the efforts they're making to help veterans. Veteran suicide is such a concern, and Mike's group has worked very, very hard to address it. We'll talk more about that when we continue on 1010XL and 92.5 FM.
From the Harrell and Harrell studio, don't settle for less than you deserve.
Touchdown.
Isn't it incredible? I knew you'd like it.
1010XL.
Welcome to Key Buick GMC, proudly family-owned and operated since 1943. Come see why they're North Florida's new and pre-owned truck center, conveniently located on Southside and JTB, just minutes from the St. John's Town Center. At Key Buick GMC, every new vehicle comes with our lifetime powertrain warranty. Key Buick GMC, we are professional grade. Online at keybuickgmc.com. Lifetime powertrain warranty covers engine, transmission, drivetrain only. Exclusions apply. See dealer for details.
Are you looking for a place to outfit your truck or van? It's Catlin Truck Accessories. For 105 years and 4 generations, Catlin is the name you can count on. This is Keith Catlin, and we know trucks and vans too, from Lear toppers, ladder racks, van shelving, strobe lighting, roll and lock bed covers, and everything in between. If you want quality products and great customer service, there's only one name. It's Catlin.
Who can you count on? Count on Catlin.
For 105 years, you can count on Catlin.
Gators in the morning, Florida for lunch, a late night Gator snack. Whenever you're ready, the Gator Podcast channel is too. Set up by Southeast Orthopedic Specialists on the video and social channels of 1010XL.
Pages in your mailbox right now. Did you know there's local savings sitting in your mailbox right now? Money Pages is packed with real coupons from your favorite local businesses. Save money at restaurants like Al's Pizza, on pet care at Forever Vets, and on entertainment for the whole family at the Alhambra Theater. Plus, make sure to download the Money Pages app for savings on the go.
Money Pages in your mailbox right now.
Hey, Hicken here. Step into a fresher, cleaner home with Zero Res. You mop all the time, but what you don't see is the dirt and residue building up, leaving your floors dull and worn. That's where Zero Res comes in, restoring shine, reviving color, and helping your hardwood, your tile, your LVP floors look newer, longer. This month, get 25% off all services, hardwood, tile, LVP, carpet, air ducts, and more. Call 904-287-5727 or visit ZeroResJacksonville.com. Mention me or ask for the 1010XL special.
Zero Res.
You may not be able to control the air you breathe on the outside, but you certainly can on the inside of your home. Just call Florida Home AC and ask about the Remy Halo. It's the next generation of air quality technology. Call 777-4300 for Florida Home AC.
Attention skilled electricians. Are you undervalued at your current company? Time to step up to the bigger projects and better opportunities. Join the team at Miller Electric Company, a trusted name in the industry for over 96 years. At Miller, we tackle the biggest projects in the city, offering not just the job, but an experienced, top-notch pay, unbeatable benefits, and the best working environments in the business. Please join the team that values your skills and rewards your hard work. Elevate your career to new heights. Apply today at millercareers.com, an equal opportunity employer.
Hey gang, Prosser here. Have you been thinking about selling your home and you haven't pulled the trigger? Let me tell you about Chad and Sandy and the experts that will help you make that decision. Mortgage rates have dropped. They're expected to move lower. Home sales momentum is building, so now's the time to get your home ready to maximize your sales price. It's time to call Chad and Sandy, the proven experts to sell your home. Need to sell now, need to sell fast, need max price. Check, check, check. Chad and Sandy have the science behind it. Using their proprietary Market Max system, Chad and Sandy guarantee your home sold at an agreed-upon price and deadline, or they will buy it. Jonathan writes from Mount Pleasant. The only thing standing between me and my dream of hitting the road in my RV was selling my Mount Pleasant home. After hearing Chad and Sandy on the radio, I gave them a call. The results were unreal. In just 3 days, I had multiple offers at full asking price. So can you. Call the local experts I trust and recommend. Call Chad and Sandy, 414-6200 or chadandsandy.com.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. When it's game time, Farah doesn't flinch.
It's a Stanley Pools Thursday on The Frangie Show. Since 1988, the experts in pools, pavers, screen enclosures, it's Stanley Pools.
We appreciate our friends from Stanley Pools, and we welcome you back to the program. Frank Frangie, Hayes Carline, JJ LaSalva, and our buddy Mike Fleming is here from Firewatch, who joins us before some significant holidays, Memorial Day right around the corner. How are you, man?
I'm doing great, brother. Great. Thanks again for really being an advocate, both of you, for our military community here.
Well, I appreciate you saying that, and thank you for the advocate you've been, not only in your time in it, but you never stop, and I appreciate that.
Yes.
A lot of things to talk about. We've got some new events coming out that you and I will talk about in a minute that we're excited about. But again, I tell people this, you're with us 3-4 times a year, not 50 times a year, so there's people that don't always hear it. You got involved in Firewatch because military suicide is a real problem in our country. That's kind of the thesis statement, right?
Absolutely.
Tell us more about, for people that have never heard why we do this, why you do this, and we do the best we can to help you share the message, why it started and how it's going.
Yeah, it's one of the challenges, Frank, and I can still remember you and I were playing golf, and I told you that statistic, and you
Never
just
forget.
almost drove the golf cart off.
I've never forgotten that moment or the number. Really.
Yeah, it's 18 to 22 veterans, unfortunately, of all eras we lose every day across the United States.
Every day.
And it's
to
terrible.
suicide.
And it's the tragedy. It's a tragedy there. And then someone did a study that said at least 135 people are affected by suicide. Now, I would argue that doesn't even take into account the social media aspect.
Yeah.
Because, when you and I were in high school, we got out of high school, we lost contact with everybody. Well, now my son and my daughter can find out anything they want about their friends through, Facebook or anything. And so, great thing about social media, a lot of good things can spread, but unfortunately, like suicide, it can have a detrimental effect. And so, we looked at, starting something. Rory Diamond was the CEO of Canines for Warriors at the time, also Jacksonville City Councilman, said we need to do something and own it here in Northeast Florida. So he got himself and then the other 4 counties, surrounding counties, Baker County, Nassau County, St. John's, and Clay counties, can't remember, and got all the commissioners sign up for it. So we started the Firewatch, and initially we were a little bit of a state entity, but now we're a 501c3, which was our goal to drive out of it. And frankly, the goal is to end veteran suicide. And we now are doing it across Florida, which is great. But our fundamental goal is to end veteran suicide, and primarily through our Watchstander programs, where we have people take about an hour's worth of training and be that friend to a veteran and understand it's okay to talk to your veteran about challenging things.
Without a doubt. And again, that's the firewatch.org. And it's been amazing as we've done this throughout the years, seeing the number of watch standards that have grown. Looking at the website right now, over 12,000, 12,221.
Wow.
But how does somebody become a watch standard? You touched on it, but and the benefit to doing that.
Yeah, you go to thefirewatch.org, and we have a great organization called Psych Armor who developed the training. So it's all online. It's less than an hour. And what it does, it teaches you about suicide. And there's a misconception sometimes that talking about suicide causes suicide. That's just simply untrue by all kind of research. And you have to have frank conversations. And what we want people to do is treat their friends, their military friends, same way any friend who's not doing the things. Maybe you play golf for 5 years every Saturday, and all of a sudden the person doesn't want to do anything. You need to be that friend to that veteran. And this teaches a little bit about the military. You should know something about the military, but also about suicide. So it's not all about suicide, but it's to get people, we call it upstream. In other words, when someone goes in a crisis, hopefully it's taken care of. But we don't want people to go into crisis. And so one of the great things is about our watch standard. We had in Q1 of 2026, we do a survey. 82% of our watch standards engage with a veteran. And then 37% of them refer to veteran services. And that's what we need, because if we had less than 10% of the population are veterans, and so we don't have, if we could have solved the veteran suicide challenge, we already done it as veterans. We're just not enough of us. And so what we need is they have everyone involved with that. And that's the whole theory behind Firewatch is everyone can have a role. I mean, when you say thank you for your service, that's nice. But get off the sideline, take an active role, and become a watchstander.
Brigadier General Mike Fleming is with us, and he takes this very seriously and is very passionate about it. Mike, explain to listeners, and this might be a question that people think you don't ask because we know that answer, but maybe you don't. Why are veterans more susceptible to potential suicide? What they've gone through, what they have to go through as they try and reacclimate into society. You describe it way better than I do. Explain that to people, why that is a real risk.
Yeah, I'd say yes to both of those. Sometimes there are events that happen to someone in the military. There's a challenge sometimes with military sexual trauma where perhaps the military didn't address it when it needed to be. And I tell people, I was in the military almost 35 years. I was enlisted an officer in the Marine Corps and then transferred to the Army. And unfortunately, mental health wasn't in my leader toolkit. In other words, if someone wasn't performing, I took corrective action. Instead of asking that one question, because it may be that someone's, marriage is falling apart. Maybe the child's having something in school. Maybe somebody's mother has cancer. So in the military, frankly, during the whole time I was in, we didn't do a good job with mental health. We did, physical health, how fast can you run and live what you can lift and all that. We all encouraged that. And if you got physically hurt, we expected you to go to get that taken care of. Unfortunately, from a mental health standpoint, we didn't look at that as a priority. And so I think we're paying the price for that. And additionally, you move from a military career or military, and it's very structured in a very positive way. You know what your support group is, you know what your place is within that particular organization, and you go out in the civilian world, and it's different. Nothing wrong with it. It's just different. And sometimes people have to adapt. And the other challenge is, frankly, your family has to adapt from one environment to the other. So a lot of challenges with that. And so, we have a lot of great things about the military that I carry with, for me. And then, unfortunately, though, there are burdens that some of our veterans are still carrying that they need help.
Yeah, it's a new life. I mean, most people go through, if you're not in the military, you go through high school. And then you either go through college or whatever training, whatever technical training, whatever. And then you're 22 or 23. Then you begin adult life.
Right.
Well, it's different from if you're a member of the military. You're doing it at a different age. Your training is different. What those experiences that are so important from ages 18 to 24 that, they form our life. Well, that's a whole different world.
Absolutely.
You guys lived a different world 18 to 24 than civilians did. That's a big part of this, right?
Yeah, it's interesting. Hayes and I were talking just off air, and I was talking about my experience at Paris Island.
Yeah.
I don't know of any civilian organization that when you're a new employee the first day, they start yelling and screaming at you.
Right.
And chasing you around and, making you do push-ups or bends and thrusts and things. So it's a shock value, which is great. You're very proud when you finish it as a Marine. but it is a completely different environment. And one of the things they do at Paris Island, I assume they still do it, they don't let you use the word I.
Yeah.
You have to say the private. And so it's to make you part of a team, which is great. It gets you acclimated to that. But then when you go into a completely different environment, like a civilian environment, sometimes you feel kind of untethered and a little bit loose, and then you need some support. And that's where, Firewatch has great organizations like, of course, Cohen Veterans Network, the VA, Operation New Uniform, Wounded Warrior Project. All of these are great resources that we have for the veterans, and that's the great role of a watchstander. You don't have to be a clinician. What you have to do is say, Mike, I'm concerned about you. How about we get you to resources? And that's the great thing about what we have for the watchstanders.
You guys do a wonderful job with the job fair during the Players Championship. Do you have another one of those coming up?
Yeah, it's really neat. And, Frank has done such a great job with walk-off charities. We all support it. And so what we're going to do in collaborations with walk-off charities is on July 4th, have a Veterans Job Fair. And I can't think of a better example of an organization that it's not oriented toward the military. Walk-off charities has a fantastic, as three of us are native Jacksonville, played Little League Baseball. What you're doing is fantastic. But how can that, organization that's doing great things do something additional for the military community? So we're going to do it on July 4th. We're going to be doing a lot of great work. Bill Hickey, our great friend, is the one that's putting that together. We'll have about 30 companies, and it'll be much like the what we did at the Players Championship. We have something called the Jacksonville Military Veterans Coalition that I founded and chaired, and we have over 500 companies that are part of that is really who works with the Players Championship for the Veterans Job Fair. So anytime we can do that, but employment is a big aspect of that, because Frank, you talked about the transition. Sometimes some veterans can't replace whatever they were doing and feel like I have a similar job or a similar level job when you go from the military into the civilian world. And so that's one of the challenges. So the more we can do to address that, that will lead directly to better lives, which means we frankly won't need as much, mental health counseling, because you feel like you're providing for your family.
The background of that, Hayes, and I appreciate Mike, what Mike and Bill and his team are doing, and you asking about it. So at Walk-Off Charities, as everybody knows, our mission is to generate revenues to help kids in underserved areas play baseball. We provide uniforms and gloves and equipment and umpires and coaching. We have 70 teams of youth. We have older kids now who have their own team. We do 8 to 10 clinics a year with over 200. We're just trying to find kids that ordinarily, and nowadays, as sad as it makes me to even say it, won't have a chance to play in a Little League baseball team or ever have a glove. So we've tried to affect that. But we also want to have a tribute to baseball and use it as a revenue stream. So that year, or that time of year, from June 30th, I think it is, which is the Tuesday, Monday or the Tuesday, through the 4th of July, we're having the biggest baseball tournament we've ever put on. It's called the Stars and Stripes. It's a military theme. There's going to be 70 teams in this thing. We have right now we think we got 2 teams from Virginia today, but already South Carolina, Georgia,
Fantastic.
Miami, teams from all over the Southeast are going to be in this thing. It's going to be in conjunction with the city of Jacksonville's 250th anniversary. So we said, I've always been taken by when Mike comes, of all the things you talk about with us, Mike, the job fair at the Players, because our friend Kathy Herbert, who's so good at so much, and you and Kathy work together, and I'm always taken by it and the passion and how it works so well. So I went to Bill and I said, what if we did this at this big event where we have teams from all over and that park is packed? Let's clear out an area and let's help the military.
Yep.
So can we put one on? And Mike and Bill said, absolutely, we can put one on.
Now, Bill's going to do all the work, and I'm going to take the credit for it. Let's just be clear on that.
Yeah,
but that's
same.
Okay, good. Yeah.
We'll be sitting on the
you
side.
and I have to share.
We'll hang out. Yeah,
I have no problem with that.
But it's but Bill says, so we have this big area. So on the 4th of July, that's our championship Saturday. That's when all the teams will be playing for championships, and all the revenues will go to walk-off charities. I said, let's make it really special with the military theme. Mike and Bill and this team knows how to put on this job fair for the military. So I think it's 10 to 1 that day, in our beautiful Bregan baseball complex. Hayes has been there many times, with where Walk-Off Charities is based. We're really proud of it. And we're really taken by what you guys do, all you do, not just the military job fair. So it's our way to be kind of around it and part of it. And I'm so excited about it, because I think when you first started telling us the story, I said, okay, I'm a black and white thinker. How do we help? How do we help?
Right.
How do we help? And being a watch standard is the best way. To your point, you've said that from day one.
Right.
But when you started talking about jobs got to be a big part of this,
Right?
Because in getting acclimated to the community and getting back and getting your family used to it and getting back to your family, well, you got to support them.
Correct.
You know, and one of the hardest things in the world is finding jobs. It just is.
Right.
It's just the real world. So if we could do a little piece to help all the great stuff so that's where the idea came from, and I'm thrilled to be part of that. I mean it very sincerely.
Well, that's fantastic, and so hopefully that might inspire somebody to say, okay, maybe from my business we can do something different or something like that. I mean, there's great things. I know there's like military discounts and stuff like that, like you're going, which is all fine, but maybe there's probably somebody out there thinking, Frank can do that at a job fair. It may not be a job fair. I can do something else.
Yeah.
And that's where, you can reach out to the Fire Watch if you got creative ideas. We want to do that because, the more we can immerse our veterans and their families in what we call a sea of goodwill, the better they're going to be. And we can get them more acclimated. We get them more feeling like they're more part of, the community. So that's really where we are. And that's what the watch standards do is kind of bring them in. And, initially we had Rory had, and Nick and I thought it was ridiculous back in 2020 having 10,000 watch standards.
Yeah.
I mean, he didn't do any, frankly, and Roy will admit it, he didn't do any kind of scientific. He just liked that number.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, now we're trying to go for 30,000 by 2030.
That's great.
So Rory had an audacious goal. We met it.
Yeah.
And now we're going to triple it. And so that's really what we feel like we can do and continue to make a difference.
Firewatch.org.
The Firewatch.
Thefirewatch.org. That's how you can find out more about it, and you can really help the cause. Mike, we always appreciate it. Thanks for coming by.
Appreciate it.
You got an important date.
Yes, I'm heading out to a graduation. My daughter Avery. So congratulations to Beachside High School.
That was fast.
Graduation.
She was 12
fast.
yesterday. She was 12 yesterday.
It's unbelievable. But congratulations to all the graduates.
Enjoy the graduation.
Thank you so much.
Back in a moment. Stay with us.
It's the ride home with the Frangie Show from the Harold and Harold studio. Don't settle for less than you deserve.
Where electrifying moments come to life.
Inside of a minute to play.
And legendary performances lead.
The monumental milestone in a legendary career.
1010XL. The power of Jacksonville Sports Radio.
Meet John and Ben Lupo, first and second generation owners of Jacksonville's Beards Diamonds.
We can do things that these corporate stores cannot do. Make decisions on the spot. Our pricing is better than anybody else's. We do not do commissions.
We really try to keep it a family environment, relaxed. We're not trying to sell you what we want. We're trying to listen to what you want.
In fact, don't be surprised if you end up spending less at Beards than you had budgeted, because they're going to teach you how to buy a diamond like a dealer buys and show you how to buy smart.
If we can save the consumer money, we're all about that. If we can achieve the same look, the same quality, and for them to spend less, that's what Beards is built on.
Why pay more if you don't have to?
Dad always taught me from day one is you got to look at the diamond. You can't just buy off the paperwork. Rather than us just saying, hey, this one's $7,000, the other one's $10,000, we're going to tell the consumer why this one's $7,000 and why this is $3,000 less, but almost looks identical.
Don't overpay at the Wall Street-owned corporate chain. Get the transparency and value you deserve at Beards at St. John's Town Center.
I'm Holt Harrell. I was talking to someone the other day, and they were shocked that some lawyers get more from a case than their own client. After paying bills and costs, if we are supposed to get more than a client, we won't. That's the Harrell and Harrell promise. When we say that we treat our clients like family, we mean it. If you've been in an accident, call us today. 251-1111. Harrell and Harrell. Offices, Jacksonville.
This is Richard Miller with your Showtime Sports Cards and Collectibles Update. At Showtime, we have a good selection of signed and unsigned mini helmets. Just this month, the newest Jaguars helmets with a retro design were released. They look great as a desk display or for future autographs. It's Showtime Sports Cards and Collectibles. Update your collection.
Homeowners, ready to let the sunshine in without letting your energy bills go up? At Renewal by Anderson, you've got 2 ways to save on new windows and doors this month. Take 20% off your entire window and door replacement project, or choose no money down, no payments, and no interest for 2 years. But this offer expires May 31st. Renewal by Anderson, proud partner of the Florida Gators. Visit bestwindowsflorida.com to schedule your free consultation.
License number CGC 1527613.
Frank Frangie here for my friend and insurance agent Craig Dewhurst. Craig has been helping families on the First Coast with their insurance needs for 25 years as your good neighbor and local State Farm agent. Now's a great time to review your insurance policies, whether you need auto, homeowners, or renter's insurance, or insurance for your golf cart, boat, or jet skis. Craig handles all of my family's insurance needs, and even better, he gives back to the community. Call Craig today at 904-940-9740. That's 904-940-9740.
The new MVP of lunch has arrived. Firehouse Subs Steak and Cheese Melt. USDA Choice Flame-Seared Steak, sauteed red and green bell peppers, caramelized onions, melted provolone cheese, and mayo on a toasted sub roll. Steak and Cheese Melt, only at Firehouse Subs.
Looking for ways to save on your JEA bill? We're on it. When it comes to your utilities, the less you use, the more you can save. That's why JEA offers ways to help you manage your usage and avoid higher than expected bills. Use our online tools and alerts to monitor your usage throughout the month. Schedule a free irrigation or energy efficiency assessment and get personalized tips to save. And with JEA rebates, you can save when upgrading to more efficient equipment. Find more ways to save at JEA.com.
Weight loss gets a lot easier when you stop guessing. Reclaim by Awaken 180. 10 weeks, a real target, finish line, and most importantly, results. Medication-free and free support for life at awaken180weightloss.com.
Frank Frangie here. These days, it's hard to know which companies to trust. But when it comes to banking, I trust South State Bank. South State truly values its customers, and they work hard to create meaningful, lasting relationships. I love going into my local branch. I see the same smiling faces I've seen for years. South State is the largest bank headquartered in Florida, so they're able to offer all the banking services you need. You can trust South State Bank. Banking forward. Member FDIC, equal housing lender.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Focused, fueled, fearless, Farah. Now, the Monahan's Golden Moment. Monahan Jewelers in Atlantic Beach, your local family jewelers.
All right, I'm going to combine our golden moments as I often do. Lee Smith was fantastic as he always is. Best golf analyst around in here talking golf with Hayes and me. A moment ago, he always does it on Thursdays. And Mike Fleming, Brigadier General Mike Fleming, 36 years in the military, and really, really cares about the military and cares about helping people. I think that's probably what stands out about Mike more than anything else is he cares about helping people. He will be with us again and again before some of these holidays of significance, which Memorial Day, of course, is. So great to see Mike, and we appreciate him coming by. So thanks to our friend Brigadier General Mike Fleming, and before that, Lee Smith coming by. Double golden moments today on the program. We sure appreciate them. My man Hayes is on to see his lovely daughter Avery graduate. I'm telling you, JJ, Avery was 12 yesterday. Man, it goes fast. Yeah, I mean it does. I mean it goes, and I mean it goes when he told me earlier. And Avery's going to Purdue, by the way. She's really bright.
Oh, wow.
She wants to be a vet one day, and she's really, really bright. She's a wonderful child. Both his kids are fantastic, Avery and Jackson. But so I knew she was going to Purdue, and he's going to spend some time.
Does she know it's in Indiana?
Yeah, she does.
Okay.
But but when Hayes texted me a couple weeks ago, said, "Hey, I'm going to duck out a little bit early for Avery's graduation."
You're like middle school.
It hit me. It did. I mean, even though I know she's going to Purdue, so you do graduate before you go. I mean, I know at the chronology how it works, but just when he told me that Avery's graduation, it just hit me like a ton of bricks. So. It happened very, very quickly. So Hayes is off there. So good for him. Hey, we didn't talk much about NBA. What happens tonight? Do the Knicks win easy? Does Cleveland have any fight in them left after? I mean,
we'll see.
I mean, you got to have some fight left after that, right?
I think that they got all the fight taken out of them in the overtime period and at the end of the game. And like maybe if they made that shot right before the end of regulation, that would have won them the game. Ended up going out, they would have, but. I just don't see it. I think they'll probably win one of the games at home, but tonight I don't give them much of a shot. But it's only like a 5.5 point spread.
Yeah. So a couple thoughts, and you watch it closer tonight. Obviously, they had a great season. Okay, they had a great season. That they're one of the better teams in the league. Secondly, if I'm the coach and I'm trying to find something to keep them from being too devastated, it was an overtime game. they didn't get beat by 50. It was an overtime. Listen, the story is that they blew a 22-point lead in 8 minutes. I get that, but it's still, you got to find. I'd be disappointed if there's not a little fight in it. I agree with you. Their heart got cut out. It's hard to bounce back, but I'd be disappointed if there wasn't a little fight in that team tonight.
Yeah, but I think it's a wrap. But like Donovan Mitchell's not that guy that's gonna put the team on his back, and he just never has been that. He's good for like a 140-point performance per series. And Harden's old. Harden doesn't have that.
Boy, he looked old the other night, didn't he?
He's done. He can't get to the basket anymore. It used to be like a 3 or I'll draw a foul at the basket. He doesn't even have that in him anymore. So they really don't have to play him too tough on defense. Just play for the 3, and maybe they'll win tonight, but I don't see it.
Yeah. So all right, one other story that moved today, NBA story. I know you saw it. That LeBron James. And again, you get his quotes. Sometimes you got to get these guys quotes from their own podcast, which is where you got this. But he talked about how it was going to be hard to beat Oklahoma City because they just had more good players, which we all knew.
Yeah, I don't know why ESPN had this as the number one story today. Well,
anytime he talks,
you are out talented by the number one most talented team in basketball.
Right,
absolutely, LeBron.
But when LeBron speaks, that's why it's a story. So, but he did speak and he did say it. So it got me thinking a little bit. If you're LeBron, all right, if you're LeBron and you're 40, whatever he is, right, you're obviously still a good player. I mean, obviously still one of the good players in the league.
We saw how good he was in the Houston series.
Right.
He was still the best player in that series, but then we saw the limitations of his game in the next series against Oklahoma.
Yeah. So he's a very good player. Obviously, Luke is a very good player. If
Great player.
Yeah. If he can be healthy. If LeBron goes back to the Lakers or stays with the Lakers, he's got one great teammate. There's no debating that. Okay, so and Austin Reeves has become a pretty good player. He's not a great
scorer.
So there's a few pieces. So what
they need more.
Yeah, but they need a lot more to compete. So that's where I'm going. You understand this acquisition in
you
that
gotta
league.
get a center.
How do they do that? I mean, do they? I mean,
LeBron's got to come back for not a lot of money.
Yeah.
First off,
so free up some dollars, which he obviously can do.
Yes.
Okay. I mean, they actually thought DeAndre Ayton would be decent. He didn't turn out to be, but I mean, I got it. They went and got a 7'1" athletic guy.
And they didn't have to give him a lot of money,
right? So what do they do? What do you? If you're LeBron, do you go back? If you're LeBron, do you go back and say, look, I'll come back, but we got to do more than we've done? What happens here?
Yeah, he sort of tried to do that last. Off season, like speaking through his agent through these podcasts, like you said, about how they need to build more around LeBron and more pieces and whatnot. I think he stays just because where else would he go? Maybe Cleveland, I guess. But I think
feel like that,
LA
though, does
is no. I think LA has a better shot than Cleveland, or a better team. Cleveland might have a better shot of getting to the finals because it's through the East, but team-wise, you're not going to beat L.A., out of the choices he has. I mean, maybe I've heard rumors for months about him going back, or not going back, but going to Golden State to play with Steph before they both call it a day. And it's that team's trajectory is down, down, down. I don't know why LeBron would go there. So I think at the end of the day, he comes back to the Lakers for a very minuscule amount of money. I think that even because he's played in the league so long, that the veterans minimum is still a lot.
Yeah.
But it's not nearly as much as he could make. So I think that he comes back, they get a center, they get a couple players on the wing and try their best to win the West. I mean, listen, they had all the momentum in the world until Luka got hurt a week before the season ended.
Correct.
They won 15 of 16 games, and they were just the hottest team in the league. So it was
Reeves
terrible
was hurt
timing.
Too. And Reeves was hurt too. Yeah, because back to your point about where he goes, back to the Cleveland thing. Okay, so you think about this if you followed this. When he was at Cleveland, headed to South Beach, you kind of knew it was happening. When he was heading back to Cleveland, you kind of knew it was happening. There were all the Lakers rumors that no one was surprised when that one happened. So those all felt like we were headed for those, every one of those. It doesn't feel like he's headed back to Cleveland.
No.
Yeah, you know what I mean? It doesn't. If you just reading the tea leaves, all those you could kind of sense they were about to happen. I think he's gonna. I think if he plays, and I think he's going to.
He's definitely going to.
Yeah,
he strikes me as the guy that wants that whole retirement tour.
Yeah, me too. Me too. And I think
Kobe got, like Jeter.
Yeah, and I think it's going to be, and I think it will. I do think it'll be with the Lakers. So I'm just wondering, what can they do? Who's available? And you made a good
It's a
point.
weak free agency class. They might have to make a couple trades. And
you made a good point I hadn't thought about. Do the Tom Brady thing. Don't take as much money and leave a little money to go find somebody.
Yeah.
And I hadn't thought about that, but why wouldn't you? I mean, news bulletin, he doesn't need money. Okay?
Yeah, he's got
probably
a lifetime Nike deal for $1 billion, even though he retired.
He's probably okay. Okay, so why not? If the reason to come back is to win, if that's the point.
And also, that's a good thing that you just brought up. Like, everyone assumes he wants to go chase a ring.
Yeah.
I think he's beyond that.
Do you?
Yeah, I do. I think, like, he's
got
just
a few
is
rings.
content with where he's at. He's playing
Yeah.
with his son.
Yeah.
He lives in Los Angeles. Like, I know he doesn't want to be on a loser,
Yeah.
but I don't necessarily think he's just going to jump ship and join, Oklahoma City and ride the bench just so he could get a ring next year. I don't think that he's cares that much anymore.
But I think the fact that he made, and you're right, ESPN probably overplayed the story, but the fact that he made a point to say we weren't talented enough tells me, by God, if I'm going to do this again, we got to go find more talent.
Which the Lakers know that too.
Yeah.
And if you want to build, it's not about wasting the time you have with LeBron left. It's you don't want to waste the time you have with Luka. If you're the
that's
Lakers.
right.
You got to build around Luka now.
Well, that's right. And Luka needs to be in shape, and Luka needs to be healthy, and Luka needs to do his work. But you're right. If Austin Reeves and Luka and LeBron are all healthy, yeah, that's something to build around because LeBron's there. Here's why it's something to build. Well, Luka and LeBron are there.
Even if it's just Luka and Reeves.
Yeah.
I mean, Luka just got his team to the finals a couple years ago.
Yeah, they need one more really good player. And you're right, because Luka, Reeves and LeBron are all kind of the same thing.
And they're all bad at defense.
Yeah, none of them are good defensively, but they're all kind of that same swing man. They're all kind of so somebody that's something different. You're exactly right. Second break. We'll wrap the program after this.
The Frangie Show from the Harold and Harold studio. Don't settle for less than you deserve.
This is Brent Musburger's Visa in Action update on 1010XL. Brought to you by Duck Duck Rooter Plumbing, Septic, and Air Conditioning. When you're stuck, call the Duck. Proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Spencer Strider gets the ball today for the Atlanta Braves. Another 43 favorite against the Marlins at Lone Depot Park, plus 119. 7.5 over the total. Dustin May, plus 104 against the Cardinals at Busch Stadium in St. Louis. Tigers and Guardians at Comerica Park. Casey Mize for Detroit, minus 118. Joey Cantillo for the Guardians, minus 102. The Vegas Golden Knights win Game 1 of the West Final. That was last night at Ball Arena in Denver. VGK 4, Colorado 2. Game 2 Friday at Ball Arena. The Avs another 92 favorite. The Hurricanes and the longest Stanley Cup playoff since 1919, 11 days off. They host the Canadiens in Game 1 of the East Final tonight as a $2.05 favorite. Progressive helping veterans drive their lives forward. More info, keysofprogress.com.
I'm Tony Desiri with your Visa in Action update on 1010XL.
All right, here we go. Jacksonville summer is around the corner, and the heat is bringing the pressure early. Your AC takes the field. It's trying to hold up the weight. Warm air, weak airflow. The system's in trouble. Time to make the call. Duck Duck Rooter Plumbing, Septic, and Air Conditioning. Experienced AC techs, honest pricing, and they'll get it done right the first time. And here's the play right now. Take $500 off the total price of a new AC system during the Memorial Day promotion. That's how you stay cool and win the day. When you're stuck, call the Duck. 904-862-6769 or duckduckrooter.com.
Did you know there's local savings sitting in your mailbox right now? Money Pages is packed with real coupons from your favorite local businesses. Save money at restaurants like Al's Pizza, on pet care at Forever Vets, and on entertainment for the whole family at the Alhambra Theater. Plus, make sure to download the Money Pages app for savings on the go.
Pages in your mailbox right now.
Frank Frangie here. These days, it's hard to know which companies to trust. When it comes to banking, I trust South State Bank. South State truly values its customers, and they work hard to create meaningful, lasting relationships. I love going into my local branch. I see the same smiling faces I've seen for years. South State is the largest bank headquartered in Florida, so they're able to offer all the banking services you need. You can trust South State Bank. Banking forward. Member FDIC, equal housing lender.
Hi, I'm Sean Monahan from Monahan Jewelers in Atlantic Beach. Since 1977, we've been Jacksonville's local family jeweler with a beautiful selection of fine jewelry and certified diamonds. But we're also Jacksonville's leading buyer of gold, silver, and diamonds from the public. Gold has recently hit an all-time high at over $5,000 per ounce, and silver is over $100 per ounce. Pay bills, buy something fun. Now is the time to sell your gold and silver for cash and get top dollar, or trade it in for a new piece and get even more at Monahan Jewelers in Atlantic Beach.
I'm Frank Frangie, and I can tell you as Walk-Off Charities has grown, we now manage a large athletic facility with numerous fields, including the Bregan Baseball Complex. To get around, we needed a good, reliable golf cart. I went straight to Dynamic Drives and Design in Jack's Peak. I met with Travis, told him exactly what our needs were. Would you believe before you knew it, the perfect cart was delivered to us at an incredible price? If you need a golf cart, Travis and his team are the go-to. Learn more about them at dynamicdrivesdesign.com.
Instant Keys. You don't have to go to the dealer. Instant Keys comes to you. Call 904-722-1111.
Instant Keys saves the day if you've lost or broken keys. They can program new keys and remotes for nearly every make and model of vehicle at a fraction of the dealership costs. Fast, honest, and reliable locksmith service. Call Instant Keys, 722-1111.
I used to dread going to the dentist. Every visit felt like a sales pitch with constant upselling, surprise fees on my bill, and I could never get in when I needed to. But Harbor Dental Care? Totally different. They saw me the next day, gave me honest pricing up front, and even set me up with a payment plan I could actually afford. No pressure, no surprise charges, just kind people who get it. If you want to experience dentistry the way it should be, book your appointment today at harbordental.care. That's HARBOUR dental.care.
Hey friends, Jason Parker here with Performance Painting. Have you ever stored a gallon of leftover paint, opened the can years later, and it's rusty, crusty, and unusable? Next time, secure the lid tightly to ensure no leaks and store the can upside down. Oxygen can't get to it, therefore no rust and no crust. If you'd like more tips or have a question about a project, we'd love to help. Go to performance-painting.com. Performance Painting. Repair, protect, preserve.
Performance Painting.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Still present, ready. Farah doesn't flinch. Now, the 2-minute drill is driven by nobody but Nimnicht. Nimnicht Chevrolet on Cassett Avenue and Nimnicht Buick GMC on Phillips Highway.
Rick Ballou is here. Hey, do you know Link Jarrett?
Yeah.
Were you?
I did his games.
You did games
on the away, some away games. Yeah,
when
he was second baseman.
When he played.
Yeah,
because he's a really good coach.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, he was on that team with Minkiewicz and Drew, and
he was on that team. Okay.
And
that was a really good team.
It was. It was a team that arguably could have won it. And I'm trying to think how far back. I think he was on the team too when Paul Wilson and Jonathan Johnson.
Yeah.
Kevin Yoakum. I mean, that was a good rotation.
The
Knowles had.
So obviously they had teams good enough to win under Mike Martin and just didn't. What was it? Did they get tight because they kept hearing that? What was your? I'm serious about that. Why?
See Buffalo.
Yeah.
Both hockey and football.
Yeah.
So some things just are not meant to be.
I get it.
And
Buffalo football, but hockey, I don't know.
Yeah.
The Bills are a great comparison.
Right. I mean, the wide rights are just like Scott Norwood missing a field goal, which would have won a Super Bowl. I mean, there was so many different ways, that they lost. It's really pretty incredible to look at all those World Series appearances and see that they did not win.
I know.
Yeah, I don't know if it's ever going to happen over there. I don't think it is this year. This is a good team. It's not a great team. I think they'll be much better.
He's a good coach
this year.
Now.
Oh, they got the right guy.
He's the right guy. He's the right guy.
Nepotism doesn't work.
Well, you know what's funny about that? I know it doesn't. And you know way better than me because you follow the team. I almost felt like it would have been hard not to hire Meat.
Yeah.
It would have almost been hard not to. It almost worked out. Hire him. He fails in 3 or 4 years, and then go get Link. Now it might not have worked out that way, but because it did, I almost think they had to. Does that make sense? You almost sort of had to.
I mean, he was on the staff forever. It wasn't going to be Chip Baker.
But he was
Mike
Martin's son.
Yeah. And Jeff Bowden was a good wide receivers coach.
Yeah, I know.
Then they promoted him. And,
great point.
And
great point.
And look at what happened. I remember I asked Meade about that when I had him on. I figured I couldn't bring this guy on and not ask about nepotism, and he didn't like the question. But I heard from
you can't be the first guy that ever asked him that. I mean,
no.
Right.
I heard there's one thing I'm not going to get into because it's long gone and it doesn't need to be mentioned because I like him as a human being, but he wasn't. He had a little spurrier in him when it came to getting out on the road and recruiting. He was not a big favorite of pounding the pavement going out to get guys.
Okay.
And you have to do that.
Yeah, I didn't know that. It's an interesting stuff, but they got a pretty good team now. What's coming up tonight?
All right, we got a lot tonight. Really fired up for the program. Mark Duffner in 45 minutes. Talked to him about the Jags. Had an opportunity to watch a great deal of the rookie minicamp practice with him about 10 days ago. Got something on the media, too, that I'm going to start with that I feel pretty confident that I'm going to get different reactions, a split reaction from our listeners. So we're going to begin with that.
I look forward to that. All right. That'll do it for our program. Doing on Daisy. Speaking of college baseball, the Gators up 4-0 over Alabama, top of the fifth. They're still batting. If they win this game, in my opinion, they'll get a super. They're already getting a regional. We'll see if it winds up happening. UNF, weather delay down 6-1 to North Alabama. Hopefully the Ospreys can bounce back when they resume. That'll do it for our program. Rick Ballou is next. This is 1010XL and 92.5 FM.